shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning to you and welcome to episode 13 of the Get Wealthy course, brought to you by Join Up Dots. Now, over the last 13 episodes, we've been talking about mindset. We've been talking about doing the boring things consistently, making your money work for you, the compound effect. But it all comes down to mindset. You're either going to become rich or you're not going to become rich. And in today's episode, we're going to get to the core of it. It's you won't get rich working for someone else. Now, at first glance, it may sound like an all or nothing ultimatum. But if we really dive into it, we can see it's just one of the most life-altering pieces of advice for anyone. Whether you want to get wealthy or whether you just feel restless or stuck in a job you don't love, you won't get rich working for someone else. But what do we mean by getting rich? Well, you should already know this, because for a lot of people, the word wealth is more than just financial gain. It's about time freedom. It's about location independence. It's about living a life where you set the rules and just being in control of things. So in today's episode, we're going to examine why working for someone else often caps your wealth and how you can embrace this rule to start creating true wealth in your life. Now, let's face it, most of us start our careers working for someone else, and there's absolutely no shame in this. It's, I think, a necessary stage. Working in a structured environment can teach you the valuable skills. It can introduce you to mentors. You can see ways of doing things. You can see ways of not doing stuff, and it builds a safety net. But staying in this stage too long does lead to complacency. And when you're working for someone else, you're essentially renting out your skills and your knowledge and time for a fixed price. Your income has limits set by someone else. And as long as you're an employee, no matter how high your position or how good the salary, there's always going to be somebody setting that ceiling on your earning potential. So consider this, every hour you work generates value, but only a fraction of that value returns to you in the form of your salary. For example, if you're making £25 an hour, that's great. But what if your work is generating £100 or even £200 an hour? The majority of that value doesn't go to you. It goes to the person who took the risk to start the business, the one who stepped away from traditional employment, the one that knew this rule, that they weren't going to get rich working for someone else. If they took on the risk, why shouldn't they also reap the biggest rewards? Think about that for a moment. Why shouldn't they reap the biggest rewards? Of course they should. Now, working for somebody, of course, offers stability, but it doesn't often give you the freedom to pursue true wealth. You're kind of stuck into it. Now, this isn't just about money. It's about the ability to create, experiment, and define your own path. A job provides security to a point, but it also means that someone else controls that security and your destiny. You're not at the helm of the ship. You're one of the crew members. And as you continue working in a job, you trade hours of your life for small incremental raises or bonuses that rarely match the value you're creating. Why should it? Because they want to put more money back into the business. They want to create the wealth for the stakeholders. When you work for yourself, however, there's no cap on what you can earn. You're not limited by a set salary or someone else's sort of evaluation of your worth. You define it. You can increase your rates, you can add new services, you can scale your operations, you can decrease your operations to give yourself more free time, you can make moves that you could never do while working under someone else's vision. And one of the most powerful shifts happen when you go from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial one. And this isn't just about quitting your job. It's about seeing yourself as the ultimate authority in your life and your career. When you adopt an entrepreneurial mindset, you start looking at the world differently. Opportunities you would have ignored or dismissed or just didn't think much about start looking like potential gold mines. You begin to understand that wealth isn't handed to you, it's built, and you're the builder. Now, you might be wondering, is this really for everyone? Because not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, and that's brilliant because we want people to be working for us. But this rule encourages thinking outside the traditional model, even if entrepreneurship isn't your ultimate goal. Look for ways to invest in yourself, build passive income, create revenue streams that aren't dependent on someone else's salary. Now, there's no doubt that taking the plunge into independence carries risks, and many people stick to employment not because they lack ambition, but because they crave the security that comes with a steady paycheck. But the truth is, wealth creation often comes with a certain level of discomfort, yet that discomfort can be transformed into opportunity. When you're your own boss, every decision rests on you, and it can be overwhelming, and failure becomes your best friend, really. It becomes a real intimate acquaintance. But wealth creation thrives in an environment of risk, and by stepping out your comfort zone, you expand your potential exponentially. Taking calculated risks gives you the freedom to create, pivot, and innovate without answering to anyone. So how do you start this? How do you start to begin the shift towards true wealth creation? Now, it doesn't mean you should quit your job tomorrow. And if you've been listening to Join Up Dots for years, you'll know that I always say, don't just jump and then try and work it out like I did. Build a runway that gives you a support for a certain amount of time while you're building your new job. A critical part of wealth creation is strategy. If you're considering this shift, start by building something on the side. Start by freelancing, investing, creating products, even starting a small service-based business like mowing lawns, cleaning gutters, all these kind of things that you don't really have to develop the skills, but it develops the resilience required for independence. So for every hour you spend outside your regular job, think of it as an investment in your future wealth. Instead of just watching TV in the evening, learn the fundamentals of marketing, client management, financial planning, and product development. The goal isn't to be perfect, but it is to be prepared. And even if you don't fully break free from employment, building an additional revenue stream increases your earning potential while reducing your dependence on a single source of income. I love this. I love not being in the tune with somebody else. I can play my own tune, because when you're working for yourself, every win and every failure belongs to you, and this is one of the most liberating aspects. It's no longer about climbing a corporate ladder. It's about building something from the ground up and then reaping the rewards of your effort. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that every hour you work is directly contributing to your personal success and financial growth. In the end, wealth is about control. You've got to have grasped that by now. Wealth is about control over your time, over your choices, and your future. It's the freedom to define your path and pursue projects that align with your passions and strengths. Working for someone else often limits this freedom. It always limits it, actually. It might seem daunting, but the ultimate reward is a life where you truly own your own life wealth and financial wealth and the path that leads to it. So how do we do this? What is the action plan? Well, first of all, just assess your current skills and opportunities. Take a hard look at your skills, interests, and the opportunities around you. What can you offer to the world that could add value? Now, identify just one or two small ventures you could start on the side. Start small, but start today. Wealth doesn't appear overnight, and neither does independence. Begin building something, however small, a freelance service, a side hustle, or even a digital product. Your goal is to experience the process of creating value on your terms. Then learn financial basics. Understanding money management is essential to sustaining wealth. Invest time in learning budgeting, investing, and how to make your money work for you rather than relying solely on that paycheck. and then grow your network. Connect with other like-minded individuals. Networking can introduce you to mentors, partners, clients who can help you on your journey. Attend local or virtual events and set a goal for full independence. While it's not for everyone, if you feel ready, set a timeline or a financial goal to achieve full independence. And this way, you're working towards something specific and tangible. Now, thank you for tuning into this episode as we explored the wisdom behind getting wealthy. And as always, if you found this episode valuable, please consider sharing it using hashtags like #JoinUpDots. But don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps us reach more people and continue bringing you valuable content. We'll see you in the next episode.
That's the end of Join Up Dots. You've heard the conversation. Now it's time for you to start taking massive action. Create your future, create your life. It's the only life you've got. We'll be back again real soon. Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots.